Okay, so we are going to look at topic number 3. We are going to look at topic number 3, that is cost estimation. So when you look at that topic, remember we are trying to do the costing. Management is about management of costs. That is the main objective of this particular unit. So when we are going to manage the cost, then we have to look at what we are going to incur. We have to look at what we are going to incur to do what? To produce a given product. So when we are going to manage the costs, how are we going to arrive at setting a costing system whereby the only thing we now need to do going forward is to just insert the variable element so that we can have our costing system put in place to help us get the total cost incurred at any given time for the output level that the company wants to deal with. So my number one item here, which we are going to look at, is the methods, the costing methods, the cost estimation methods that we are going to apply are normally classified into two. That is mathematical methods and non-mathematical methods. So if we are going to look at the classification, the mathematical methods are classified into two, and non-mathematical methods are classified or are always four in number for this particular course content. So let us start with the mathematical methods. What are these mathematical methods? Which ones are they? This one do not even require someone to attend the class because it is already provided in our course outline. Is there someone who is able to help us identify the specific cost methods under mathematical methods? Is there someone who can help us identify that? Do we have someone who can help us identify that? Yes, somebody? Somebody to help us identify that? Somebody to help us identify that. The costing methods, yes, we have linear regression. Another one, under mathematical methods. Under mathematical methods, which ones are we going to have? Which ones are we going to have? Another method under mathematical method. Somebody to assist us there. Somebody to assist us there. Number 2, or what you can do, just mention all of them, then we are going to classify them into mathematical and non-mathematical method. Can someone help us now in that area? Can someone now help us in that area? I try to get my marker pen. Yes, we have accounts analysis, we have ILO method, we have scan. Okay, so let's now classify them. Mathematical methods and non-mathematical methods. Let's now classify them there. Let's now classify them there. One of the non-mathematical methods which we have, is accounts analysis. So the mathematical method is scattered graph method. Then number 2, we have or we call it ordinary. Then here, this is where we have accounts. This is where we have I. This is where we have engineering. That's where we have engineering methods. So do we have any other that is remaining? Do we have any other method that is remaining there? Do we have any other that is remaining there? So as you do your studies, in this particular topic, don't forget about this. Don't forget about this. Don't forget about this. Don't forget about this, and also don't forget about that. So you'll find that all of them are very important to us, but what you need to know under engineering, you basically need to know what the method is, application, or how do we use it? How do we use it to come up with the cost estimates? How do we use this to come up with the cost estimate system? That is all you need to know about engineering. Advantages and disadvantages or limitations also are basic things that you need to know about engineering methods. When I come to ILO method, just know disadvantage, advantage, disadvantage, advantage, and also this. That is these other ones. Know the advantage and the disadvantage. Once you know that, because all of them, all these other methods must take you to y is equal to a plus bx, which the other day we said that y is the total cost, a is the fixed cost, and b is the variable cost per unit. Then we get to x, which is now the independent variable. We call it cost driver. In management accounting, we call it cost driver. It will determine what the total, it will determine what the value of y is, because a is constant. Variable cost per unit is constant. But whatever is going to determine our total cost here is now the quantity of the output, the activity level, of which this activity level can be machine hours, can be labor hours, can be units produced, it can be advertising expenses, it can be marketing expenses. So maybe the higher the marketing expenses, the higher the total cost being incurred. It means the total cost is dependent on the fixed and also the variable component of those costs, which is also dependent on a given element. So that is what we need to know. That is what we need to know. It is only engineering method that will not take you to this part. It has several procedures that is not covered under management accounting for the intermediate level. So what you need to know is basically its application, advantage, and limitation. These are the ones you have to know how to arrive at the final figure here. You have to know how to arrive at that final figure. Now today, I want us to look at, if time will allow us, the 3 of them, but the 4, but I would like us to start with the simple one that will make you understand everything, the ILO method. So let's speak on that. Let's speak on ILO method. Let's speak on ILO method. At the end of it, you have to get or arrive at this. That is what you'll be arriving at. So what we also need to know, as I've mentioned, that Y is the total cost, or it is the dependent variable. We have A constant, or the coefficients here, A and B. Then X is now the cost driver. It is the independent variable. So when you are dealing with this kind of data set, you'll be given the items here in 2 columns, which you can refer to. Let's say we just look at the past papers there. If I can get any data set to show you that, it will be okay if I get any data set representing the same. Maybe you can access the past papers. So let me just have September 2021. Just have some figures there. We have 460. That is total production cost. And then we have level of activity. Total production cost, of course, is in thousands. And then this one here is given in units produced. So that is what we have there. Of course, they are only those 2 columns. So the first one is 460 against 30. We have 300 against 22. We have 480 against 33. We have 550 against 39. We have 570 against 41. We have 310 against 24. We have 410 against 29. Then we have 455 against 32. Then we have, so let me just modify this to meet my interests. We have for 55 years, but it is against 53. Let's just have something of that kind. That is what is given. Now, you are being told to use ILO method to solve this particular question. You're being told to use ILO method to help us come up with a cost function. So if that is given, if that kind of information is given, you first of all have to convert the titles, the column titles here, to either Y or X. We have to convert them to either Y or X. So can someone help us identify? What column are we going to change to Y and which other column are we going to change to X? And maybe give a reason if possible. Which one are we going to have as y? Which one are we going to have as y? Remember, we said y is now the dependent variable and x is the independent variable. Now, if you look at this data set, we are told that this is the total production cost and then the level of activity in bracket units produced. So between total production cost and activity level or units produced, what are we going to have as the determinant of each other? Do I use the total production cost to get units produced, or I use units produced to arrive at the total production cost? What are we going to have as y? Let's pick it from that point. What will be our y? What will be our y? Somebody to guide us. What will be our y? What will be our y? Level of activity is x. So somebody is telling us that the level of activity is x. For us to arrive at the total production cost, we take the fixed costs plus the variable cost per unit, which is B. Then we multiply by x. X is the activity level. Our total production cost is dependent on the units that we are going to produce to give us the total variable cost. Then we now add to the total fixed cost, or the total fixed. So the total costs will be total fixed cost plus total variable cost. Total variable cost. That is what we have there. So once you've known that, there's no need of again returning these titles. So you now know very well that you only have two. We have y and we have y and x. So that is it. Now, when you're going to deal with this particular question, using which method? ILO method. We are going to consider the combination of the highest value and the lowest value, starting or considering the values of x, not values of y. We are considering the values of x, not values of y. For example, if I want to get the combination of the highest value, which one are we going to pick? Because we are going to apply ILO method. So let's have the first coordinate. The first coordinate should be of the highest value. Can someone tell us the combination? And remember, when you're going to give the coordinates, we normally start with x, comma, y. It is x, comma, y. So can someone give us an int? The combination of the highest value. Let's call it coordinate t. What will that coordinate be? 53. So we are having 53 as the combination of the highest value. That is 53, 4, 55. 53, 4, 55. Okay. Can someone give us the combination of the lowest value? Combination of the lowest value? Combination of the lowest value. Which one are we going to have? Combination of the lowest value. Combination of the lowest value. $22, 300. So that is the set, that is set A of somebody who has started considering this highest and lowest value using starting from the x side. Another person will say, Okay, this is why. So the highest value in this place here is 570. So they take 41, comma 570. They call it T, that is the highest. They take their lowest, look for the lowest value here, get it as 300, so it will be the same, 22, comma 300. So group A will take this to work out and get their cost function, which is y equal to a plus bx. Team B will also use this to calculate their y equal to a plus bx. So as we now move forward, this one here is wrong. We consider the highest and the lowest value using the cost driver. Call this X or cost driver. It is independent. It directs, it tells us what the cost or the total cost will be. The fixed cost does not change. The only thing that changes the cost is the variable cost component, which is this X here. That X is what changes. So you have to identify them, first of all, to do away with the name of the titles, which we've done. From there, once we've known that, if you're going to apply the I-law method, then we now move to this side of X and look for the highest value and the lowest value. Even if our highest value here with whatever is this side do not correspond to the highest value in column Y, still we just consider the highest value of X. And that's why we are saying that group which took 53,455 instead of 41,570 has got the right answer. So let's do away with this. We've now known how to identify such. Once that is done, we have this. So this is what normally happens. Sorry. You can be having a graph or a chart here. So here we have the production cost. Then here we have units produced. Then you do your plotting. So you've done the plotting. You want to look for the line of best fit. Then you say this one here appears to be the line of best fit. So the total production cost against units produced is this one here. That is the curve, which is equal to y equal to a plus bx. This is what we are looking for, this unknown. So how do we normally get the items of that particular curve? We apply now the gradient. We have to do the formula of getting the slope. And the slope of this particular curve, that is dy. Then we have the x, will give us the gradient or the slope of that curve. And what is that slope? It is this value here. The slope of our curve is the value of b. Then, how do we get the value of a? At point A, we have not produced anything. It is fixed. We have not produced anything. And if we've not produced anything, the units produced is going to be 0. Even if this value of B is 20,000 times 0 will be 0. So when production cost, total production cost is equal to the total fixed cost, at that particular point, we've not produced anything. And what is that particular point? It is here. This is the point of getting the value of A. This is the point of getting the value of A. How do we call this particular point? When it is going to cross the y-axis, when it crosses the y-axis, the point at which it crosses the y-axis, the point at which it crosses the y-axis, the point at which it crosses the y-axis is what we call y-intercept. So here is what we have as y-intercept. Y-intercept x is equal to 0. Here, this is the origin of x. So when x is 0, what do we have as already captured value of y? So maybe we have 50, we have 100, 150, 200, 250. Here is 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So at this point, the y-intercept, when x is equal to 0, that value of y becomes our fixed cost. So this is the concept of what we call scattered graph method. It is going to help us understand what you're going to do under I-law method. Once that is done, the coordinates I was referring to, we can assume or we can take these two to be those coordinates. So at this point here, we have T. So we have M. At that point, we have M. And at this point here, we have T. So those are the two coordinates we were referring to. And we've said for us to get the slope of this particular curve, which we said is the value of B, it is dy dx, change in y divided by change in x. How do we get change in y? The highest value of y at this point here, remember T is 53,455. M is 22,300. So we want to get change in y. Change in y is the highest value of y here minus the lowest value of y, which is going to be 455 minus 300. We divide by change in x, which is 53 minus 22. So let us now get the slope or gradient of that curve is equal to 455 minus 300 over 53 minus 22. So what is the value of G? That is the gradient or slope of that curve. And remember, our gradient or the slope of the curve is the value of B. It is the value of B. It is B. It is B. So somebody to get us the value of B. Somebody to get us the value of B. Someone to get us the value of B. Someone to get us the value of B. So the value of B is 5. The value of B is equivalent to 5. Now, I just want us to do it somewhere here. If the value of B is 5, are we able to get X? Are we able to get A? That is what we are looking for. We have to arrive at a function of this nature. Now, we take any pair of the coordinates which we got here, either the highest or the lowest, any of them. So let's say we've decided to pick this pair of M, which is 22, 300. That is the coordinate we've decided to pick. And our function says y is equal to a plus bx. What is y? Total cost. This is the value of y, 300, is equal to a, which we do not know, plus b. Do we have the value of b? We have calculated it here. It is 5 multiplied by x. What is our x in this particular coordinate where we got the 300? It is 22. So we multiply by 22. It means for us to get the value of a, we will say a is equal to 300. This one is plus. If it crosses the equal sign, it will be minus into 5 by 22. So the value of a is therefore equal to 5 by 22 subtracted from 300. Tunapata ngapi? What are we getting? What are we getting? What are we getting? I'm being told that it is 100 and it is 190. It is 190. So once we get the value of a and b, it means we can now get our function. So our cost function y is equal to a, which is 190, plus bx. So what is b? It is 5x. We've created our cost function. So if this was for the month of January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, then you are being told in the month of September, we do not know the cost. The only thing we know that units produced in that particular month is or was 32. Are you able to give these people the total production cost? Now that we've created cost estimate function, are we able to use our created cost estimate function to arrive at the total production cost? The only thing they have given us is the units produced. For us to get the total cost, that is y, we are going to have the fixed cost, which do not depend on any unit produced, plus the variable cost per unit, which is 5, I multiply by the unit produced in that particular month, which is 32. So I take 5 by 32, I add it to the fixed cost. What will be my total production cost for the month of September? What will be my total production cost for the month of September? 350. If I'm told that in the month of October, my total units produced reduced from 32 to 17. It reduced from 32 to 17. What will be our production cost in that particular month? What will be our production cost? What will be our production cost? Somebody to guide us there. 275. 275. I want to see 11 of us confirming that they're able to see or they're able to calculate and arrive at that 275. I want to see somebody confirming, at least 10 people to confirm that they have been able to calculate the 275. Yes, so they have simply taken y equal to 190 plus the units produced, which is 17, they multiply by variable cost per unit. Then if you do all that working, you are going to get to 75. I've given you that information going through the scattered graph method to help you understand, because scattered graph method will be given the value of x, the value of y, and then then you are told to plot, which we've done here. The plotting, which these letters here, these asterisks were representing the plotting. And then once you've done the plotting, you choose the line of best fit, which I have done. After doing that, we now identify the gradient, because for this particular function to be complete, we only need two things. We only need the value of A and the value of B. The value of A, we say, is the y-intercept. At y-intercept, x is equal to 0. When it crosses the y-axis, x will be 0. That is the fixed cost. Even if they have not produced any unit, they already incurred some cost. Of course, as we progress to the subsequent topics, we'll be understanding these types of fixed cost, which we are going to have here. You've rented a given house to do your production. In this particular space, you're going to pay rent on monthly basis. So that rent which you are paying, whether you've produced 0 unit, the rent amount is fixed. Whether you've sold 0 units, the rent amount is still fixed. So this is the fixed component you are talking about. You've employed people that you are paying on monthly basis. If they manage to sell 2 units, you pay them their full salary. If they sell 1,000 units in that particular month, you pay them their full salary. It is fixed by contract. You are not going to change it. So it is upon you to maximize the units of output, to maximize the units sold, so that you are able to recover the fixed cost. So that fixed cost which we are talking about is what we have in this space. Even if I've produced 0, it is still there. Even if I sell 50, it will still be there. It is already incurred. It is only this portion that is being added, that is dependent on the units of output. So it means we are tackling 2 things here, the ILO method and the scattered graph method at the same time. Why are we doing that? Because the ILO method also applies the same concept of the gradient and the slope. So let's forget about the scattered, but I maintain this. So this is what we add. We've identified the high and the low figures. We have them here. We have to take the 2 sets, the highest and the lowest, which we have here. Then what are we going to do? We are going to apply the formula of identifying or getting the value of B, which we said is equivalent to change in Y over change in X. Change in Y, we take the highest value of Y, which is 4, 55 minus the lowest 300 over the highest value of x, 53, minus 22. If I apply that, I'm going to get the value of b, which you told me is equivalent to 5. Once we have 5 here, we come to our question. Y is equal to a plus bx. B is 5, x. We take any pair, either this or this one here. So let's pick this one this time round. I think we picked M, so let's pick T. Let's pick T. So Y here for T is 455. Equal to A, which we do not know, plus 5 multiplied by X. What is X in this particular pair? 53. So if I do all that, my A minus 5 by 53. So what will I have? 5 by 53? 5 by 53, somebody? Five by 53, 265. So we have 265. So let's get the value of A. What is the value of A? 455 minus 263, 190. It's taking us back to 190. So once we have A and B, that is the only thing we were lacking in this function. So our Y is equal to A, which is 190, plus bx. B is 5, x. That is what we were required to calculate. So you've seen the only difference between I and low method is that for the, I low method and the scattered graph. For scattered graph, you're going to plot everything. We look for the line of best fit. For I low method, we don't need to go through that procedure. We simply pick the two pairs and then proceed to calculate all these that is calculated or that we have just done here. So is it now clear to somebody? Is it now clear to somebody that you are able to use ILO method to come up with a cost function to estimate even the cost for the next period? Confirm if you are able to do that. Confirm if you are able to do that. Confirm if you are able to do that. Okay, if that is done, then I would like us to move to the next simplest method. Let us move to the next simplest method, which is called accounts. Analysis method. So the accounts analysis method, this one is taking us away from that, but let's just do this. Let's apply regression method. Regression method, it will still put us within that bracket of identifying the value of y and x. I think regression method will be okay. So regression method, linear regression method, we can call it linear, ordinary regression methods, Ordinary regression method is also another name of that. Ordinary least square method, simple regression. So we can even call it ordinary least square method, regression method. So in exams or maybe in class, we've learned about linear regression method. In exams, the examiner is telling you, use ordinary least square method to come up with cost estimate function. So you'll be wondering which method is this? From which topic are they testing this question? So you have to know the other name, which I will try as much as possible to give you all other names if we will be covering such particular or such concepts, because we have to be very keen. The examiner knows very well that you only cram what has been indicated or what has been taught in class. Are you able to go ahead and even read the other name? So that is what they look for, to ensure that you get confused. But I will assist you as much as I can. So for the regression method, we have to know two things. We have to identify X and Y. Very important. We have to identify X and Y, whereby X remains to be the independent variable and Y remains to be the dependent variable. The final output of this particular method remains to be Y equal to A plus B X. That is the final output of this method. Y equal to A plus BX. Once we've known the final output, what is the second step? This particular method here is to be calculated on a very simple ground. It is supposed to be calculated on a very simple ground. It is to be calculated on a very simple ground. So what we basically need to know, is the first function here is summation of Y. Summation of Y is equal to NA plus B summation of X. Then summation of XY is equal to A summation of X plus B summation of X squared. We only need to know these two. So once you have that, we have formed a function which is now going to be solved using several methods. Remember, if you did QA, or if you did management accounting, you can recall the methods of solving simultaneous equations. 1, using elimination method. 2, you can use substitute method or even apply matrix method. You can also solve the same by use of a graph. My advice to you in this particular question, remember, just applying that will help you to get the value of A and B. Don't go the matrix way. Of course, you'll get the answer, but our main interest here will be to save on time and have sufficient time to do everything. Let us not go the matrix way. Let us use the substitution or elimination method. Substitution or elimination method will help you to solve this within the shortest time possible. That's number one. Number two, we can also apply calculator. We can apply our calculator to help us get these values directly without taking a lot of time. So once this is done, it is this function, this is the original function that is normally being condensed to give us the value of B directly, to give us the value of A directly. So what are we going to do? Let's move first to get the value of B. How do we get B? So let's make B the subject of the formula in both cases. So our B, here we are going to say B summation of X is equal to summation of Y minus NA. We divide both sides by summation of X, summation of X, summation of X. So that is the value of B. That is the first B. Then we have summation of X. Then also make B the subject of the formula here. Summation of XY minus A, summation of X minus A summation of X. Then we divide by summation of X squared. So we have B, and B is equal to B. So it means summation of Y minus NA divided by summation of X is equal to summation of XY minus A summation of X divided by summation of X squared. So when we now bring this summation of Y minus NA, we have summation of X squared is equal to summation of X into summation of XY minus A summation of X. That is what we have. So if you look at it, you will be able to see we've eliminated B. We now remain with A, which we are looking for in these particular functions. So let's make A. Let's divide this and make A to B together. So we are going to have summation of X squared summation of Y minus summation of X squared NA is equal to summation of X summation of Y minus summation of X times summation of X, which will now be A summation of X squared. So we have A here. Let's eliminate and remain with our A. Let's have A on its own. So we can take it this other side. And then we have these ones here together. So we have all of this to go the other side. So we have minus summation of x squared NA is equal to this summation of x, summation of y, minus, so this one here, we are going to bring it this side to be plus, that is A, summation of x squared. Then this one is brought this other side. Then we have this one here that is being transferred to the other side. Then we have this portion here. We have this portion here, which is a positive. Which one are we taking? This one here. So plus summation of x squared summation of y. That is what we have. That is what we have. Then we are now going to divide to get our A. So A into bracket summation of x squared minus n summation of x squared. That is what we have, which we're supposed to take to this side. So summation of x squared minus n summation of x squared. So that is what we have there. What is the value of A? What is the value of A? What is the value of A? So we now have this taken away. We now look for the items that will cancel out. So here we have summation of x squared. It is a negative and also a negative here. So you'll be able to see this one here being eliminated. The negative is eliminated. And then we have summation of x, summation of y, minus summation of y. Then we divide by summation of x squared. What is this? It is summation of x and then summation of x. So this one here eliminates this. So what are we remaining with? Summation of y minus summation of y divide by summation of x minus n. That is what we have there. That is what we have there. Now, if we look at it, that is if we go the B way, that is what we have as the value of A. Sorry. If we now go the A way, we want to eliminate A. We want to get A first. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? So we simply come to this part here. Our A or NA is equal to summation of y. This one crosses the sign to be minus B summation of x minus B summation of x. For us to get A alone, we divide both sides by n. We divide both sides by n. So the another formula of arriving at A. This one here is without using B. We have eliminated B. This other one here needs us to calculate B first. So as you can see, we've now simplified A to basically mean summation of Y minus B summation of X over N. Then how do we calculate B now? B is equal to N summation of N summation of X minus summation of X summation of Y minus summation of X, Y is equal to N summation of X minus summation of X summation of Y over N summation of X squared minus summation of X, close the bracket, and square. That is what you are required to have there. Summation of XY. Sorry, that is what we have there. So in all this procedure, what was being done here is basically trying to modify this to help you calculate B directly, to help you calculate A directly. If you cannot do that directly, then this one here is the simplest method. So you can forget everything. You are allowed to forget everything in this particular formula, but don't forget these two things. Don't forget these two things here. So if you see me eliminating something, that means they are not, you are allowed to forget them. We are allowed to forget all that. We are allowed to forget all that, including this one. You are allowed to forget. You are allowed to forget everything, but don't forget these two. If these two are well taken care of, that's good. Then if you are conversant with this, then just have this one here in place, because once you know this, you'll be able to get A directly. Once you know this, you'll be able to get B directly. But as you can see, B is already here. So you cannot get A before you get B. But you can calculate B before arriving at A. That's number one. Number two, there's a very big difference between X squared and this X bracket squared. Are we together? This X squared is the items in column X. We are going to have our values here. Let's say 4, 3, 7, 9, 2, 3, 1, 5. So X squared will be this one here, 4, 9, 1, 25. XY will be 8, 9, 7, 45. Then down here, we now get the summation. So here is summation of Y, summation of X, summation of X squared, summation of X, Y. That is it. So in our formula, I want us to insert them into these formulas and see. This n, somebody is wondering, why are you not even talking about n? N is the number of observations. At this point, how many entries do I have? If I could have been given this one here to represent month, here is January, February, March, April. So how many months? I collected data for this particular month. How many months did I use in this particular data set? There are 4. So that 4 is the value of n. It is the number of observations. If I have 12 months, that is it. So in some cases, you'll find the examiner giving you the name of the months there, or even 1, 2, 3 to help you arrive at that. But then some also knows very well, I want to punish these people. I want to see if they're able to master what we've been talking about. So they basically forget about it and wait for you to see if you have been able to identify that n is basically the number of observations, which is 4 in this particular illustration. So once that is done, you want to get the summation of y. We simply add whatever is in this particular column. That is 7 plus that 14, 23. That is what we have. Then x here, when we add everything, that's 5, 6, 11. Here 13 plus this will be 38, 39. Then if we add everything here, it will be 52, 61, 69. Confirm if those figures are correct. Before we proceed, confirm if those figures are correct. Confirm if those figures are correct. Okay, so let's now proceed. Let's get B. Let's extract B from that particular question or that data set. So our B is equivalent to n, which is 4. We multiply by summation of xy. Summation of xy is what we have in this particular column. That is 69. Then minus summation of x, summation of y. It means we are going to take summation of x, we multiply by summation of y. So that is 11 times 23. What we get up there, we divide by, so the whole of this, the whole of that will be divided by n, which is 4, multiplied by summation of x squared. We now come to this column of x squared. The total is 39. We multiply by 4. Then minus summation of x squared. And this is the x squared we are referring to. They are taking this summation of x and squaring that particular value. So you take 11 squared or 11 times 11. So you've now seen the difference between x squared and x bracket squared. Because if you don't get that as from today, you may end up missing all these marks all the way to your paper. So once that is done, we'll be able to extract B, which I expect somebody to just throw it there. The value of B. The value of B, somebody to throw to us the value of B there. Somebody to throw to us the value of B. The value of B, somebody. The value of B. You people are letting me down and you have calculators. The value of B. is 0.66. 0.66. Okay, so I'm told here is 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0.66. 0 The second person can confirm that 0.6. Give me to 4 decimal places, 0.6571. For this one here, at least 4 decimal places. Going forward, if you calculate the value of B, 4 decimal places to help you at least have an accurate value for A. So our A will be summation of Y, 23, minus B, 0.6571, multiplied by summation of X, which is 11. Then we divide by N, which is 4. That's all. Napata ngapi? What is the value of A? What is the value of A? Value of A. Value of A, somebody. Value of A inatushinda hapa. The way you have the value of B, multiply by 11 times -1, add this, divide by 4. Simple. 3.9428. So once we have the value of A, we can now go ahead and get our cost function. Y is equal to A, which is 3.9428 plus B, X. Our B is here, 0.6571 X. That's the function. So if you are told to estimate the total cost that will be incurred in the month of May, if the value of X here is 7, you simply come here and replace X by 7 to get the value of Y. That's all. Now, that is when we apply the simplified, this one here, which we've said, if you don't understand this simplified, you will try to cram it, but you are not able to do it perfectly. But this one here is simple and you've understood what it represents. Don't worry. Don't worry. We simply come here. We simply come here and say, because this is what we understand, summation of Y is 23. Summation of Y is 23 is equal to NA. Our N is 4, but A we do not have. So we have 4A plus BX. B, summation of X, which is 11B. Then come to this other side, summation of XY. Summation of XY, there we have 69, is equal to AX. A, summation of X, which is 11, A plus B, summation of X squared, 39, 39B. We have two simultaneous equations. We can solve using elimination, matrix, or substitution, or even drawing a graph. Now, very simple. Make one of them to be common or equal. Either I multiply by a number to make the value that I will be getting for A or B equal to the value of A or B down here. So I can take this, multiply by 11, I take this, multiply by 4. Then have a new equation down there to make A equal to A. So that I have 44A, I have 44A. When I subtract the two, I'm going to have 0. So that I only remain with one unknown. That is option A. Option B, I simply come here and say, okay, make 4A the subject of the formula. So I have 4A, or make A. So my 4A is equal to 23 minus 11B. So divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. So my A is equal to 23 divided by 4 minus 11 over 4B. Anytime I am going to get anything that has got A, I replace with this entire thing. So the first thing that I'm able to see here is, now I come to this second question and say 69 is equal to 11A. And what is my A? This is my A. So the whole of this multiply by 11 over 1. The whole of that multiply by 11 over 1. So 23 by 11 itakuwa ngapi? 23 by 11, 23 by 11, somebody. 23 by 11. 23 by 11. 253. So we have 253 over 4. Then minus 11 by 11, 121 over 4. But what is the value next to it? B. Then plus 39B. That's all. I've eliminated A. I now only have one unknown. So I collect like terms together. These ones here goes together. This one crosses equal sign to be minus. So 69 minus 253 over 4 is equivalent to minus 121 over 4 B plus 39 B. Hizi zote tukideal nazo tunapata ngapi? Somebody not to let us down. Somebody not to let us down. Tunapata ngapi? Tunapata ngapi? What are we getting? The first simple thing here is to just take 253. I'll have 5.75. So you'll confirm to me if you are getting that. Then this other side, I have 8.75B. So just divide by 8.75, 8.75. The value of B is equal to 5.75 divided by 8.75. To 4 decimal places, 0.6571. That's what I am getting. Okay. Back to your questions which you end up here. Either this or this. Just pick one of them. I come to pick the first one. 23 is equal to 4A plus 11B. 11 multiplied by B, which I have calculated there. So my 4A will be equal to 23 minus this one here. So my 4A is equivalent to, my 4A is equivalent to 15.7714. When I divide both sides by 4, I'm getting A as 3.9429. hiyo kitu iko sawa? Si hiyo kitu iko sawa? Confirm that. So you are able to see that this one here is just as a result of rounding off, but we are able to see that we are arriving at the same answer. We are arriving at the same answer. As you can see, our A here is 3.9428. This one here is just a difference of 1 due to rounding off, which has been affected by the dependent value of B here. So it means our function will be y is equal to A, which is 3.9429 plus 0.6571 x. That is it. So what I will do, I will share with you the settings in the group there. You try calculating them by yourself. See if you're able to identify X and Y. You're able to follow this, draw it down there. You're able to apply this or the simplified one there, calculate everything. So what you need to do in those settings, you're going to see those papers there already. Just identify, come up with the function y is equal to a plus bx. Make this function in all those questions. And then when we meet tomorrow, I will now go ahead and give you what is there. And then we move to accounts analysis method. So I believe that's enough for today. That's enough for today. Thanks for your time. Have a blessed night and let's meet